are you two doing?
What do you mean?
Yeah, what do you mean?
You guys have been separated for 6 months. You're getting divorced. And you spend every day together as if like it's no big deal.
We are separated and we're friends.
It's the perfect breakup.
Sorry.
Betty's so angry.
Ah, she is uber angry.
Yeah.
Hello, welcome to this very intimate special edition of What the Flick. Just me and my cuddly friends here. Talking about Celeste and Jesse Forever. Which is
nice to be called cuddly.
You are cuddly. I like cuddling with you guys. I'm Christy. This is Alonzo. This is Matt. I do. They sandwich me sometimes. It's nice.
Send all the slash fiction to Christy Lemire.
Aren't you glad you hung around for so much? Matt hasn't even seen this movie. He just likes
My
us
wife
so
is
much.
going to be you're sandwiching? He's just here for cuddle time.
We're plushy and furry. So we're talking about a movie called Celeste and Jesse
pretty worrisome.
Forever. Please describe it to us. Words.
It stars Rashida Jones, who co-wrote, and Andy Samberg. And they play a longtime couple who are actually separated and on the verge of divorce, but they still hang out together and act like everything is dandy and they're still great pals. And obviously this cannot last, and things start unraveling when Jesse gets involved with another woman and Celeste realizes that it's time for them both to get on with their lives.
Wait, what?
I'm so sorry, Celeste. Are you okay?
I'm totally fine.
Are you having regrets about Jesse?
What? No.
So what I like so much about this movie is that on paper it has all these tried and true romantic comedy staples, right? So she goes in this series of bad dates, and there's a guy out there with whom she clashes immediately that you know is going to probably be Mr. Right eventually. She has a media job. She's very type A. She has the wisecracking best friend and the wisecracking gay coworker.
Yes.
And it's all
That's a lot of
rooted.
wisecracks.
They're wacky, and it's rooted in this, very contemporary pop culture reality. There's this Britney Spears style pop star that she clashes with, but then it upends all of that with its tone, and it's like an art house romantic comedy. Like it acknowledges all your expectations, all the cliches,
Yeah.
and then it finds a totally different route into these characters and into a realistic depiction of their emotions.
I think you may be giving it a little more credit than it deserves. I
Okay.
mean, because yes, you're right, it does set up a lot of stuff that we've seen before, but I think a lot of it is sort of resolved in a way we've seen before. I mean, what's new and interesting about this film is the way that Celeste and Jesse get along, and the rapport they have, the inside jokes, and all that kind of stuff. I really haven't seen that much in a movie, and I think the two of them, I think Samberg and Jones
Rashida
Jones, yes, have a really amazing chemistry, and I think the film exploits that interestingly in the first part. And then once things unravel and they have to sort of go their separate ways, and it feels like to me the millionth movie about people in their 30s learning to become adults.
But that happens.
I know, but it
And
happens.
this happens
does,
but
but
that
it happens
differently
so
here.
much in the movies,
But-
and I don't feel like this does it differently enough.
It does. I mean, the way it's shot, even the use of music. I mean, it's much more melancholy, unexpected musical choices versus the kind of jaunty, peppy, top 40 stuff we usually get in romantic comedies. I think it's different in every way, and I like that. Even the big epiphany, right? There's always some big speech in front of a lot of people where a character has this big epiphany, and it never happens in the real world. It only happens in movies. It happens here, and even that moment has more honesty to it than you would expect.
I'll give you that scene as a good one, yes. But for the most part of this, I think it goes from, for me, it went from feeling like a comedy that was unlike stuff I'd been seeing into a drama that felt like I'd seen it a lot of times. And so to me, it felt like yet another movie about, people in a prolonged adolescence coming to the end of it and then realizing that they need to face adult responsibilities, And I don't think that it does it differently enough to make it as special as that first half is.
I would say, though, that the ending does not necessarily go to a happy, feel-good place.
No.
And I admire that,
I
too.
like the ending, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's definitely one of the film's strong points. But there's between the dissolution of their sort of friendship and that ending, you have to, for me, it felt like a rather familiar slog through stuff. But I like the performances a lot.
Right.
I would love to see, I dread the idea of this Thin Man remake they keep threatening to do.
Yeah.
But I could see these
they're
two
gonna have
doing
it,
something akin to that. They make a really interesting screen couple of people who are best friends and have been best friends since they were teenagers and have this sort of crazy internal language and rapport going on. That was conveyed really interestingly, and I would love to see them take that into another movie where it gets a more interesting platform.
And this was inspired by Rashida Jones and her co-writer Will McCormick, who has a small role in this as the pot dealer / voice of reason. They dated for a few weeks, and they realized they'd be better off as friends, and so this script kind of came out of that notion. This reminded me a lot of Away We Go.
Really?
We were talking about Sam Mendes earlier, because he's directing the new Bond.
Right.
In that you have two actors who are best known for comedy who have a chance to show some surprising dramatic abilities. I think she fares much better in that than he does here.
Yes, I will give you that.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's a nice surprise to see that in her.
Yes, no. She gets to play a lot of colors. And again, I did an interview with somebody where I said that usually when you have a movie that is starring the person who wrote it, that actor wrote it because it's they wanted to give themselves the opportunity to do stuff that nobody lets them do.
Right. Jennifer Westfeldt does this. A lot.
Let's not even talk about
It's a
that.
whole other conversation.
But anyway, I think that for Rashida Jones, yes, we know her from Parks and Recreation, we know her as a comedian, and she gets to cry in an unattractive way and do all that kind of stuff. And yeah, she pulls it off very well. And like I said, I think that she and Sandberg, when they're being funny, have a really terrific chemistry. I don't know, it just, the supporting characters were kind of interesting, but it felt like you could cut them out of the movie and you wouldn't miss anything. I mean, like the Emma Roberts Pop-Tart, who's sort of Kesha-y, a few zings every so often, but not all that much. The gay best friend played by Elijah Wood is like, it brings nothing. Like it's so extraneous. Like we need a gay best friend, but we'll comment on the notion of a gay best friend in the movie to excuse it. But that's all that it is.
That's the point of it, is that it's a cliche, and they have fun with that cliche.
Not that much fun.
No?
They talk about that it's a cliche, and that's about the extent of what they get out of that character. And I don't know. It just felt tacked on. And when I reviewed this out of Sundance, I said he's the first character to go when they have to cut this thing for airlines.
They didn't.
Yeah.
So far he's there.
No, he's but when they have to make it shorter, vamoose.
Oh, I like Elijah Wood.
No,
his cute little preppy outfit.
He's fine.
Cute.
As written, there's just not much going on. Anyway.
All right, so what are our numbers?
I gave it a 6.3. I think there's things that work in it, but things that don't.
I'm giving it a 7.4, which is what? Math? We said 7, right? We're going to round up to a general 7 region, but it is higher than that.
It's 80% on the tomato meter.
See, people like it.
Actually, it's a 6.9 because I think one of us changed.
What did I say? I said 7.4, right?
And I said 6.3, so that's 13.7, so 6.5 is 6.9.
We're 7-ish. But it's in limited release. It's New York and LA this weekend, and it goes wider from there. So I think you should go see it. But Alonzo says
You've talked me into it. I haven't seen it. I had very little say. Now I want to see it.
I'm persuasive. Bye.
Bye.